It's Thursday, January 5th, 2023. This is FRC Media News. I'm Keith Tebow. It's a week of inaugurations. We'll hear from Massachusetts' new governor and Bristol County's new sheriff. Police staffing is once again on the radar of local government officials. And one Fall River School Committee member looks back at her first year in office. All this and more coming up. It's an historic day in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as Maura Healey today was inaugurated as governor. She's the first woman and LGBTQ individual to serve in that role. She joins Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll as the first woman governor and lieutenant governor in state history. During her inaugural address, the governor proclaimed that Massachusetts is rebounding from the pandemic and is poised for further success.
But we've come through difficult days. And here's what you and I both know. The people of Massachusetts are resourceful and resolute and hopeful. They're ready for what comes next. They're ready to walk forward. We just have to set the path. We just have to light the way. If we do this right, if we act and choose in a way worthy of this state's proud history and its great people, we will make a difference right now. And we will lay a foundation of success for generations to come. So let's chart our path forward, walk it together into the next chapter of the Massachusetts story.
Governor Healey said even though unemployment is low, people across the state are still suffering through the rise in inflation and the high cost of housing.
High housing costs are unacceptable for our people, our businesses, and our state's future. To fix that, we need to think big. We will build a state with room for all of its people. To lead this effort, in my first 100 days, I'll file legislation to create a Secretary of Housing. The Secretary will work across government and with cities and towns to make sure we meet our goals. We'll use property that belongs to the people to help the people. I've already directed my Secretary of Administration and Finance to identify unused state-owned land that can be turned into rental housing or homes within 1 year. We'll get first-time home buyers the help that they need, reduce the cost for renters by expanding deductions.
The governor proclaimed Massachusetts as a leader in innovation, speaking directly to the business community, pledging to help those who are in need of filling high-skilled jobs.
You help drive our economy, and you will help drive our future. In me, in us, you'll have partners every step of the way. This begins with making sure that you have the workforce that you need. Tens of thousands of jobs in healthcare, transportation, and technology are going unfilled right now because our workers don't match the demands of our economy right now. Let's work with our community colleges and vocational schools and make sure that the training we offer meets the needs of companies in every region. In my first budget, I will create and fund a new program called Mass Reconnect. This will offer free community college to students over 25 who don't have a college degree.
The governor also looks to continue to expand opportunities within our public schools and make Massachusetts a leader in combating climate change. Now, today is the first day of the Healey-Driscoll administration. That meant that yesterday was the last day of the Charlie Baker and Karen Polito administration. The pair took the traditional lone walk out of the State House last night. During his final address to the people of the Commonwealth, the former governor pointed to his administration's handling of the pandemic and putting the state in a position of stability.
With your help and in collaboration with our legislative colleagues, we went on to accomplish so much more. We took a $1 billion budget deficit, turned it into a $5 billion surplus, and gave $3 billion back to taxpayers and put $7 billion into the state's rainy day fund. We brought broadband access to Western Mass so kids could research homework, parents could work from home, and businesses could grow and succeed there. We delivered major infrastructure projects long promised but never done. We passed the first major housing reform bill in decades so we can finally do something about the cost of owning a home. And we did it all without partisan bickering.
The former governor also noted the generosity he and the lieutenant governor experienced from residents across the state.
Lieutenant Governor Polito visited and met with local officials and community leaders in all 351 cities and towns, many more than once since taking office. I got to more than 250. Both of us were amazed by the creativity, decency, and shared sense of purpose that we saw everywhere we went. Despite a myriad of political fights and distractions that were raging all around us, people here chose to focus on the work, and it paid off. The personal and professional generosity, from the Berkshires to Cape Cod and every place in between, was always there. We were there too, in the front row, watching it and appreciating it for 8 cherished years.
Former Attleboro Democratic Mayor Paul Heroux was inaugurated this week as the sheriff of Bristol County, officially ending the tenure of longtime Republican Sheriff Tom Hodgson. During a ceremony held at Durfee High School, the new sheriff took the opportunity to thank Sheriff Hodgson for his years of service and pledged to move the department in a different direction.
This election was about change. The people of this county want to see some changes in the sheriff's office. I ask that you be patient with those changes, waiting for those changes. I've heard the concerns, I've recorded everything, now I'm going to address those concerns. I take things seriously, but I do not overreact. I'm going to act on things that can be proven, and I'm going to be fair. To the staff of the Bristol County Sheriff's Office, we have a lot of work to do together. I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to keep some things the same. Please remember that I never make decisions alone and that everything I do always has a reason behind it.
Sheriff Heroux says he plans to create a new administrative position, the Director of Inmate Services, that will focus on reducing the number of inmates returning to prison.
This is a person who would report directly to the sheriff, who oversees matters concerning medical, food, education, rehabilitation programs, discharge planning, other similar concerns that we need to address in an effective manner. This would be an experienced administrator with a history of running a facility specializing in mental health, medical care, addiction, and other like services. I've heard that many services are being offered. I've also heard that many services are not being offered, and I won't know to the degree to which until I get an up-close look. If it's not already being done, we are going to set inmates up with housing, health care, and a job. These are the pillars of successful prisoner reentry.
The sheriff said he will investigate reducing the number of suicides within the House of Correction and ensure the department is run in as transparent a manner as possible. He also wants to open the prison to visitors and find opportunities for local veterans.
I'm also going to invite people to tour our facilities. Tours are an educational opportunity. I want anyone interested in seeing and learning about the conditions of confinement to have that opportunity. Something I did not campaign on, but I'm going to pursue, is a program to recruit homeless veterans to work for us. I want to work with local organizations to get these veterans housing and health care and train them in a profession, corrections. I will work with our local state legislative delegation to help make this happen.
Sheriff Heroux said he plans to serve for no longer than 2 terms and views his office as a noble one.
At the core of what we do in corrections is God's work. It's about working with people who might not have ever had that first chance in life, who many in society have disdain for. It's about giving hope to the families of the incarcerated. It's about giving a sense of purpose to the people who work in corrections. It's about giving pride to the people who live in our community that we are doing something that, although they may not see, is a benefit to them and their loved ones. The election is over. I may have been one side's candidate, but now I am everyone's sheriff. Whether you supported me or not, I hope you like the work that is done and the results are delivered. Time to get back to work tomorrow.
The Fall River City Council held a special meeting this week to select its leadership for 2023. By consecutive votes of 5-3, the council elected Joe Camara to serve as president and Linda Pereira as vice president. Councilor Camara was president to end 2022, taking over for Councilor Pam LaLiberty, who resigned from the position last September.
I think it's imperative that we continue to make improvements in our public safety, in our education, and our infrastructure in the city. I think it's also very important that we support all department heads that are providing daily services to our residents. They need our support. We need to help them every which way we can. I also think that it's very important for us to continue to have respectful and honest debate over the issues in this chamber, as we've done in the past few months. There are a lot of issues that are going to come before us, and having honest debate and respecting each other, as we've been doing, is something that needs to continue. And also staying focused on the agenda as it is written. We still have a lot of work to do. I'm not going to go on with a long speech, but I just want to point out that we still have a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of work that we can get done, and I'm looking forward to doing that work with each and every one of you to make this city a better place.
Last week, city councilors began a discussion with Police Chief Paul Gauvin and leaders of the Fall River Patrolmen's Association about the ever-shrinking ranks of officers within their department and ways to recruit new officers and retain those currently on duty. Patrolman Association Vice President Edmund Damaris says in 2022, the department has seen a marked decline in the number of officers that patrol city streets.
Last year alone, our numbers, our roster went from 173 patrolmen in January down to 163 in June. We lost 10 just in that 6-month period. To today, we want to talk about usable police officers. We're down to a net of 145 police officers on the street being able to work. We have 158, 8 of them in the academy, just graduated. They're going to be in service. You have 4 on leave time, planning to retire. They're using their accrued time to retire. You have 5 on extended sick leave through injury or personal injuries. And then you have 2 on admin leave. You want to break that down. It's 145 patrolmen to rely on to service all functions of the police department. Mm-hmm. Detective services, special operations, school resource, housing authority, patrol. That's where we're at. This didn't just creep up on us. So in June, we were told that there is no crisis. We're fine. Staffing levels are great. And if people want to leave, let them leave. Well, here we are 6 months later, and we're in a crisis.
Chief Gauvin says there are currently 25 uniform division openings within their department. He says the problem is simple. There has been an increased level of disinterest from those looking to become police officers.
During those periods of the previous probably 4 or 5 chiefs, they've had thousands of bodies. They've had people on waiting lists. The issue was with budget and money. I'm probably the first chief you're going to see that has the opposite problem. Is that I have open positions. I have the budget. You people have supported us. You've supported the police department with your budget allocation from the mayor's office. We have the money to hire people. It's something on the other side of it. It's the bodies. We need to hire more.
Police recruitment and retention is a nationwide problem. Patrolmen's Association President Jonathan Ferreira says Fall River should follow the lead of other communities in incentivizing individuals to become officers and keeping them on the job.
Many of the big departments have figured out we need to somehow do a retention program, and the number one thing is financial. That's the biggest thing, and that's also how the city would prove it respects our department. How hard are we willing to work to keep our guys? Are we talking to the guys? What is it that they want?
Potential candidates in this city that if they want to come on this police department, they have to pay for the entrance exam, civil service, $150. They have to pay for physical agilities test. They'll have to pay for psychological exams. They'll have to pay for khaki uniforms to go to the academy. They'll have to pay for uniforms to go to the academy. It costs roughly about $9,000 out of a potential candidate's pocket to become a police officer. That is where that money can potentially be spent, is on that equipment to cover the cost of that to get people to come on. When I came over from the sheriff's department 15 years ago, I got a severance package leaving that department of $10,000. I spent $9,000 of that to take this job, paying for all the equipment, paying for the academy, because the city pays for the academy up front, but the candidates pay it back to the city. Covering those costs is an incentive. That's a hiring incentive. So when we say throw money at it, that is what we mean by throw money at it.
Let's take a look now at the latest COVID-19 statistics in Fall River. The final weekly report of the year was issued last Thursday, December 29th. Last week, Fall River had 139 new cases of COVID, up from 122 the week prior. There have been 34,214 cases of COVID since the onset of the pandemic. On the vaccination front, The city remains at 70% of those eligible having received at least one dose of the vaccine, 61% considered fully vaccinated, 30% have received at least one COVID booster, while 10% have received a second booster. We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Hi, I'm Tess Curran, Director of Health and Human Services for the City of Fall River. I know that we're all tired of COVID-19. However, COVID remains a threat in our community. Anybody can become infected with COVID-19, especially children. Therefore, it's critical that parents consider getting their children vaccinated.
We realize that children already get a lot of vaccines as it is when they're young. So to add one more can be a lot for parents. But just like the other vaccines have basically helped eliminate many of the diseases that they were designed to fight, same thing with COVID.
As a parent, when we were thinking about how to approach the vaccination process with them, we were really looking at what the benefits were versus what the risks were. You know, they're 3 active kids. They like to play outside, they like to run around, and we wanted to keep them as healthy as possible. We talked to our pediatrician, what was going to be the best move for all 3 of them.
For parents who have questions about the vaccine, the best thing you can do is ask your pediatrician.
There was a little pinch, but it wasn't really that bad.
Anyone 6 months and older is eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. For questions, please contact your doctor or visit frvax.com for additional information.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Lead molder assembler, Anderson Airmotive Products Company, a manufacturing company of aircraft connectors, located at 994 Jefferson Street, is seeking a full-time lead molder assembler, responsible for installing and setting up molds used for multiple product molding operations. Job number 181-07723. Dental hygienist. Mondovi Dental, located at 1190 Stafford Road, is looking for a part-time dental hygienist, responsible for cleaning teeth and examining oral areas for signs of oral disease. Job number 181-07435. Assistant Site Coordinator, Citizens for Citizens Incorporated, located at 264 Griffin Street, is looking for a full-time Assistant Site Coordinator, responsible for assisting the Associate Director in the overall administration, planning, and supervision of facilities management functions. Job number 180-98611. Lifeguard, the Fall River YMCA, located at 199 North Main Street, is looking for a part-time lifeguard. For more information, call 508-675-7841. Columbia Travel Incorporated, located at 176 Columbia Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Bookkeeper, job number 180-83300. Travel agent, job number 180-86480. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. Fall River School Committee member Sarah Rodrigues is one of 3 members new to the panel in 2022. After 1 year, she has gained on-the-job experience and is looking ahead. Ms. Rodrigues says that even though being a new school committee member comes with a steep learning curve, she feels she's been able to serve effectively.
I typically don't wait. If I have a question about something, or if I need more information about something, or if I have an opinion about something, I'm going to go to the people that can either help me get more information or help me put things into perspective or have a context around what it is that we're doing. I don't think it's ever crossed my mind like, oh, I'm new, so I shouldn't say this or say that. I don't think we're going to do anybody any good if we kind of hold that position, right? So what are we waiting for? You're holding this office for 2 years. If you wait until you're not new anymore, you've wasted a whole term waiting, right? And so it's not my MO.
Ms. Rodrigues says she's received support from the other 5 school committee members as well as Mayor Paul Coogan, all focused on delivering on the mission of the district.
We have a district of almost 11,000 students, and they come to the table with all kinds of needs and all kinds of strengths. And so it's important, crucial, essential, that every person on that committee can come together and really look at this is our end game. Our end game is that we're doing what's right by our kids, and we're looking at what the implications of every decision that we make. We are going to disagree, and frankly, I think that's kind of important, because if we just have a group of people that say yes to everything, and there's no discourse and there's no honest communication and honest disagreement, right? Conflict doesn't have to be a bad thing. So when people talk about like, oh, you disagreed with so-and-so on this, how does that affect your relationship? I don't think that it does. I think we're all adults, and so if we can communicate effectively and we can get our point across, then I think we're in good shape. And as long as the end of the day, what we're looking at is really what's going to benefit our kids, then we're doing our job.
Ms. Roderick says she respects the work under difficult circumstances being done by Superintendent Maria Ponce.
I think that Maria is a very team-oriented person, and this year has been a year, it's kind of like, when we're talking about sports, right? It's a rebuilding year. She's had to rebuild her team. We've lost a lot of people at the administrative level, and not that I don't think those people are important. I think it's an okay thing that we're rebuilding this year, and we're spending some time really honing in on who's going to be the best fit, and she's done a lot of that. So that's really where, administratively anyway, her focus has been building her team. She puts a lot of trust and a lot of faith in her team, and honestly, that's what leadership really has to look like, right? If we don't have a solid team that we trust and believe in, then we can't run solo. And I think that's the difference between the superintendent and what we had in the past.
Ms. Roderick says she will consult with her family before deciding whether to run for re-election this year, but feels Fall River should not settle for anything less than excellence.
We don't always believe that we deserve better. And so sometimes what we aim for, sometimes what we look for, the things that are not going well. I would like to see that we start to believe that as a district, as a community, that we do deserve those good things, right? That we do deserve better, that we can achieve more, that our kids can do really well, and our families can be healthier and happier. So what I want to see for the community is more family engagement, right? Because that's going to be our number one predictor of success for our kids in the future. I want to see a community that believes that we deserve more than what we currently settle for sometimes, right? We kind of get into this rut of believing that like, oh, it's Fall River, we can't have more than that. But no, we can, and we're a community that is very rich in diversity and strength, and I think in all of that, we can find some more good that we can capitalize on. Like, we've got kids that are doing amazing things. We have families that are doing amazing things. So I think if we can highlight those more often.
Bristol Community College is in the midst of recovering from a criminal cyber attack. The incident took place on December 23rd, and according to the college's website, there has been, quote, no forensic evidence that this incident resulted in the unauthorized access to or acquisition of personal information. Their investigation continues. Winter session classes at the college began last week, with the spring semester slated to start on January 18th. We will wrap up this edition of FRC Media News right after this.
Hi, welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today in this segment we have Little Bow Wow. He's a 4-year-old pit bull mix. As you can see, he still has a lot of energy despite being 4 years old. He loves playing with toys. He knows basic commands like sit and shake. He is such a sweetheart. If you guys want somebody who can act this crazy but yet sleep on the couch and cuddle with you, he's the perfect dog for that. He does well with dogs and cats. Children, we say just 12 and over just because of our pit bull regulations. We also ask any potential adopters to own their own home. So if you want to come down and see Little Bow Wow, you can come to Forever Paws Animal Shelter. Either fill out an app in person or online, and then we can arrange an appointment for you so you can come meet him. He would love to meet you. Today we have Ivy. Ivy is a 9-year-old calico mix. She was found as a stray. She's been here for 3 weeks looking for her forever home. The perfect home would be a house with no dogs. She does tolerate cats. She's not too big into cuddling them, but she can definitely live with another cat, no problem. No children under 12, just so they can respect her space. She is a very beautiful, sweet cat. She definitely would love somebody to come visit her. If you would like to come down and meet Ivy, you can come down to Forever Paws Animal Shelter, fill out an app in person or online at foreverpaws.com, and then we can schedule an appointment so you can meet Ivy, and I'm sure that she would love to meet you.
Hi, I'm Tess Curran, the Director of Health and Human Services for the City of Fall River. COVID continues to circulate in the community, and we need to be aware of the resources available to us. These resources include testing, treatments, and vaccinations.
As we enter into the flu season, the winter season, the biggest advice I can give to all people of our community is to monitor themselves for symptoms, and home tests for COVID are available, and I encourage people to do those tests to isolate if they have symptoms or if they test positive to COVID, and then to really reach out to their medical provider if they do test positive on one of the home tests. There are treatments available now for COVID. Many of them are very effective in preventing hospitalization and severity of symptoms. The manufacturers of the COVID vaccines have updated their vaccines to meet the new variants that we see in our community, including Omicron. And so I encourage people to get the booster vaccine. For individuals who have questions about COVID or the new vaccines that are coming out, I recommend that they reach out to their medical provider, or they can look at the local resources on the frvax.com website.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website, frmedia.org, for all the latest news and local information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday.